Okay, so this first video, first of three, is showing you how to prep your footage for keying. So what we want to notice is, first of all, I've got this footage imported in. Now it did come in at 30 frames per second, but as you can see I've already changed mine to 25. Just a little refresher. If yours is still at 30, you just need to right click, go to interpret footage, main, and then change in this box by here where it says assume this frame rate, change that to 25, make sure it's at 25. And then you're good to go. So you can click and drag this down to the new composition icon like we've done before, and the footage we've got is just a girl sort of, you know, standing still, and you've got an uneven green screen, the lighting isn't even, you've got, you know, she's a bit out of focus, you've got all these other sort of bits in here. So we've got a little job on our hands, and there's quite a lot of green spill on her coat. If you look at her coat, there's quite a lot of green pixels spilling over, and on her cheek by here. So we'll be having a look at how we can deal with that. So let's just make this fit. Right, okay, so first of all, there's two things we need to do. We need to denoise the footage, and we need to mask off certain areas so they can so we can key them individually. So what I'm going to do is type in my effects and presets, remove, I only have to put REMO, and I've got remove grain, and I'm going to click, drag that effect onto my footage. So if you want to have a look at the noise, you can go to the blue channel and just look over here. Let's deactivate that just for a sec, and you can see as you start pulling through this footage, you can see all that grain in the footage. It's really not nice. So this remove grain effect is going to help us. So let's come back to the RGB channels, and we'll have a nice little look, see what's going on. So first of all, our viewing mode is in preview. It's only going to which means it's only going to denoise in this little box that we've got, and that's not what we want, but we'll change that later. For now, we'll change this to noise samples, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 little boxes. Now what these little boxes do is they look at the frames and they analyze how much noise is in that area, how much do I need to remove, stuff like that. So you can, if you come into sampling, you can increase or decrease the number of those boxes. We've got 1, but I think I'll go for 6, that's alright. And you can make the sample size a bit bigger, and I will do. So if I wanted to, the whole reason we do this is so that we can, you know, start moving the boxes around, because you know, we can pick out bits that we want to. It just makes sense that we do that. So that, give me a second, that to move those boxes is in, is it fine tuning? No, can't remember what it is now. Sample selection, yeah. Sample selection here is currently automatic, so go to manual, and now you can move each of these boxes around. And I'll probably go to the darker areas of the green, like so, and I may put 1 over here because I know there's a lot of noise over here. And let's go to this area. And yeah, that should be fine. I may make the boxes a little bit bigger. The sample size, make it a bit bigger like that. There we go. Now, to see this in action, let's go, what was it like in the red channel? Yeah, you can see us quite a bit there. I'll change this back to final output. And you can see when I turn this on and off, if we zoom in, see it a bit better. When I turn this on and off, you can see how much is cleaning that footage up. So that's quite good. And you can always increase the noise reduction. I wouldn't push it too far because it'll start, you know, you'll start losing details on the face. You can see I'm already losing a couple details on the face when it happens. So I'll probably just, to be honest, keep mine at 1, and then we can always alter it later. Let's have a look how it works in the blue channel. So turning it on and off. It doesn't do a great deal there, but I bet if we were to, you know, come through, it's a lot more refined. So let's make that fit, and you know, you can play around with this and make it, you know, better, stronger, up to you, but just try not to lose too much detail in your face or the coat or anything. So I know that in this composition, because when I drag this footage down to the composition icon, it made a composition called HCW Test Wide, which is the name of the footage. I want to rename this composition because all I'm doing in this one is denoising. So I'll go to rename and denoised footage. Let's put an underscore in there. Cool, so we've got that done. Now that's all I'm going to do within this composition, and the next thing I want to do is start masking different sections of her off, because if I were to, when you key, if you were to just click by, you know, round by here, it's sampling those, it's going to sample those green pixels, but there's different shades of green between her legs, or in there, over here, so you want to separate it out. And to do that, I'm going to drag this composition down to the new composition window, because in this denoised footage, I'm denoising the footage, and I'll rename this denoised footage to masked underscore footage, because that's what I'm doing specifically in that composition. So I'm breaking it up, making it a lot easier on myself. If you were to pass this to another artist in industry, they'd want to see, they wouldn't want to see everything done within one composition. They want to see, okay, I want to look at the denoising settings, or I want to look at the masking. They know where to go then, so it's a lot better to work this way. Now, I'm probably going to break it off into her bottom half, so from her legs down to her feet. I'll probably do her torso, and then I'll probably do her head as well. So, in order to do that, like we've done Roto before, this is very rough, we can get the pen tool, and let's start isolating off everything below her coat. So just simple draw, click around like that, and you can see that we've just got this part isolated, okay? So if we hit M twice, we can see our mask 1, and let's rename this piece of footage in here legs, because we know it's just her legs that we're separating out. So at the first frame, we can hit the stopwatch on mask path, come forward a few frames up to this point. Like, you don't have to be, you know, this doesn't have to be done every frame at all, nor does normal rotoscoping, which you should know. But let's, you know, start having a look at including her feet now, because we moved forward in time. Let's bring that down. So between here, the first 3 seconds, we've got it masked fine. Now let's move forward a bit, and you can see these points need to just be dragged down slightly again, like so. Drag these points down, make sure a little bit wider. Okay, and between these 2 points, ooh, does it go out there? Nearly. I'm just going to move that out just a touch. Okay, and then I'll come to the end, and I can move this down again, move that down, move this across, and you're just getting a rough shape around her. So, you know, that's already that bit separated out. So we've got her legs separated. Now I want to repeat the process. All you need to do is just repeat this process and you're good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the legs footage, hit Control and D, or Command D, and then I've got legs 2. So I'm just going to rename this, because I know this time I want to do the torso, so I'm going to call this torso. Now, as well as copying the footage, if I were to turn the bottom one off, you can also see that this one's masked at the legs as well, and that's because as well as copying the footage, it's copied the mask as well. So if I hit M twice, you can see I've also got mask 1, and I want to delete that, so we're back to normal. However, if we were to turn on the legs on the bottom, nothing really changes, and that's because if we turn the torso off, the legs is just the legs separated out, and then turning the torso on top is the whole piece of footage bang on top of it. So what we want to do now obviously is come back to the beginning, and on the torso layer we want to get the pen tool and draw around her torso. Okay, just like so. Okay, and now you can see we've got the legs on the bottom, and then we've got the torso. So we're breaking it up into little bits, so we can key the legs separately, the torso separately, and then the other bit. So again, I'm going to hit M twice, hit mask path for this one, because I need to animate this mask. Come forward to about 3 seconds, kind of where I did before, and you can see we're slipping a bit by here, so we can get our pen tool, click the mask, and just start, making sure it looks okay. And yeah, something like this should work fine. And all this does is it minimizes the amount of, it gets rid of that post that comes in on the left. There's a few lights we can see at the top, and it's just garbage. This is called garbage matting. We're getting rid of all those unnecessary things, and there's a few tracking marks in the background that it gets rid of as well, which helps us. So I'll come forward, repeat the process again, and just keep on going through. And this really does not take that long. I'm probably taking longer doing it because I'm explaining, so you know, let's just make sure it matches up all the way through. Yeah, no bits of her getting cut off, and I'll come to the end and you know, just start moving this over. I don't need all this green space over here, so we can start doing this. And unless there's any mistakes, no, I think we've masked that bit pretty well. So again, all I'm going to do is repeat the process. Let's go Control D, and I've got torso 2, so I need to rename it because I know this is going to be head. And again, when I copied it, it gave me the mask from torso, so I'm going to hit M, delete that mask, and now we've got a piece of footage unaffected. We've got the torso and we've got the legs. So let's turn all them back on. I'm going to get the pen tool yet again and just go around her head like so. And now I'm going to come in, just modify this a little bit, so MM, and just give that a little tweak, bring it in, and now like I did before, hit the stopwatch. I didn't do it at the beginning this time, so I'll just hit the stopwatch there, come back to the beginning, and it didn't really move. So but I want to give it a keyframe anyway, and then I'll come forward and let's go in, start moving these keyframes like so. Let's come back, check. Yeah, we've got it all within there. You may need to give it a few seconds to, you know, refresh because it's all pixelated. But let's just move this, and we're getting, you know, good mask around here now. So we're limiting the amount of work we've got to do. So let's just give that a little bit of extra room. Okay, cool. Let's give this a little bit more. Yeah. So basically, if we were to play this back now, what we've got is, oh, first of all, I'll save it. Save as, and let's go documents, keying, save. I'd always recommend saving as regularly as possible. So I'm just going to play this through now, and we'll see what we've got at the end of this sort of first of 3 tutorials, all about prepping our footage. Actually, it's taken quite a while to play back, so I'm not going to do that. But you know what you'll have is a green screen character which is masked throughout, and it limits the amount of pixels you have to worry about when you're doing the keying. So cheers for tuning into this one, and I'll see you in the next one.